Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This week is hopefully going to be quite a productive week. It is actually Tuesday, so that's usually the day that I start my sort of working week, but this week we've had to juggle things around a bit with the childminders. So she actually went yesterday, so this is my second working day this week. So yesterday I basically ended up working quite a lot on my new summer collection. I did film a couple of clips of me just playing around with some designs, but I will talk you through some of those designs. But I have also then ordered some more samples of those, so hopefully they will come tomorrow, but if not I might just tag on a little clip at some point. But yeah, so what was I saying? Oh god, pregnancy brain is fully kicking in. But yeah, anyway, so today I actually have a midwife appointment, so that's gonna break up my day a little bit. But I need to edit my video from last week, so I'm going to try and get that done before my appointment, have my appointment, and then I'm just going to plan out my sort of product launch. I found myself just doing loads of random things that I'm not sure is really being the most productive and stuff. So yesterday I was actually quickly googling a product launch checklist, which I had to kind of steal bits from quite a few different ones. There wasn't one that fully covered what I wanted. But yeah, I want to get organised so that I'm not just floating around doing lots of random stuff that's not really getting me anywhere. So things like product images, samples, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I will talk you through all of that later on today as well. But yeah, welcome back to another video. Ooh. So I had my midwife appointment earlier and I've just been working on my computer for a few hours. But one of the things that I was just going through, so I've basically got my collection of fabrics. Like I said, I'm still waiting for another round of samples to come through, so I will show you those when they arrive. They've been dispatched, so hopefully it won't be long. But yeah, I was just having a look at which piping colour to use with each of the designs. I think the majority of the pink designs, I'm just going to go for a white piping. So I'm going to get this printed onto a velvet, and then I'm just using some of the other samples that I had made up from my other collection to see which colour piping. So this cushion has a white piping with it. So yeah, I've just been going through, having a look to see which ones work best with which and whether I think they should be on a velvet or a cotton, and whether I think they need piping in general, because sometimes I think it can be a bit overkill having piping on everything, but then other times I feel like having a piping just finishes off the cushion and gives it that extra luxurious look and feel to it. But yeah, I am quite limited on choices for piping from the supplier that I use. So for example, I've talked about this before, but this pink is the only pink that they do. So they basically have a white and black, a pink, a yellow, a teal. I think I've basically used all the options on a sample at some point. So I've got the pink one here, I've got the teal on this. Ignore the fact that the lines don't line up. That was just a problem with the way that I'd set it up, basically. And then I've used, also excuse the fact that I'm too lazy to take off cushion covers and I just bang them on top of each other when I'm playing around with them. But yeah, I've used this yellow. This yellow is like almost the right shade to use for this design. I thought just having like a yellow piping would finish it off nicely. But I think other than that, I'm basically going to use either white piping or not have piping at all. But yeah, I'll see what works well with the designs that are coming. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the progress that I've made this week. I'm just hoping that the samples arrive tomorrow or Thursday. I think they'll probably arrive on Thursday. So I might like tag in a little bit to this vlog just to show you them, because yeah, I would like to have that kind of bottomed out as well. And then, so basically the task that I'm doing at the moment is like, I've got all of these designs and now I'm deciding what I'm putting on cushions, what I'm putting on napkins, what I'm putting on placemats, tablecloths, etc. And if I'm gonna do like any additional things to them, so like whether I'm gonna have it in like a wavy design with stripes behind, so like that kind of applies more on like the placemats and things. I just like that layered look rather than just having like the standalone fabric. But yeah, so I'm just working through that at the moment. I will show you in a second on my computer screen what I'm doing. So yeah, I was just quickly having a look to see what I think will work with the piping, because I'm also just going to go onto my supplier's website and do like mock-ups, because you get to see like an actual mock-up of the product with the piping and have it like double-sided, and it gives you like a little 3D view of it. So yeah, that's pretty cool just to see how it will look. And also it does kind of show you how it'll look in the different fabrics. It's not like amazing, but yeah, it'll give me a bit of a clearer idea, and then hopefully I can print that off and just write a few notes on what I would like changes I would like to make. And then I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that over the next 2 weeks, so I've got tomorrow and then I have no childcare, so for 2 weeks, so I'm hoping that she will nap and over the next 2 weeks I can basically be starting to upload and like create the products and stuff and get it ready for launching. But like this is where I was like hoping to plan everything out at the beginning of the year, and I've not done that because I've not properly like created a plan, as in like a template or anything that I can fill out. And I feel like I'm just constantly chasing my tail with it. Things are taking a bit longer than I initially thought, and then I get very easily distracted by things like Etsy and like trying to figure out the SEO and all of that kind of stuff. And like, yeah, I've seen a lot of things. Comment below if you've got any sort of experience with this. But I've seen a lot of contradictory stuff around Shopify and Etsy. So basically my online website is on Shopify, and then I have an Etsy store as well. So one of my suppliers, which is basically my cushions, they don't integrate into Etsy, so I basically can't upload. I could, but I'd have to like manually place orders and stuff. with that supplier, which is fine, but particularly with like what's coming up in our life in terms of like having another baby, I don't want I don't want to fall behind on orders because I'm having to like manually process every single order, and I don't want there to be any room for like errors or anything like that. So I like having that integration. So yeah, one of my suppliers doesn't integrate with Etsy and then the others do. So I've got everything that can integrate onto Etsy, I've uploaded onto Etsy. And then I've also uploaded it onto my Shopify store, which, yeah, I'm really in two minds about what to do with it though, because my Shopify is costing me like £25 a month for the plan. And then I'm paying like Etsy for like listing fees, and obviously you pay like a percentage to Etsy, which is fine. It's not like a massive chunk of money. And on the one hand, it's like better on Etsy because it's like if you make a sale, you pay, and you pay a 20p listing fee, which you'd have to have a lot of listings for that to get to like a decent chunk of money. And it's like every, I want to say like 3 or 4 months, so it's not overwhelming in terms of cost. But then not all my suppliers integrate with Etsy. And the reason why I like my cushion supplier is things like they have piping options. They're also based in London, so I know that like it's all UK like sourced and made, etc., which is my preference. So yeah, that whole side of things is just like a bit of a minefield. But yeah, I'm just figuring out like how I go forward, because I'm not making my money back. I haven't actually made a sale on my Shopify store for quite a while, and I've not made any sales on my Etsy store. And I've been like watching videos on YouTube and like tweaking stuff. I did go a bit mad for a little while, and I think I was like over tweaking it, so I was doing it too quickly for like the algorithm to actually catch up and like figure out what it was doing with that listing. So I've kind of like made a few changes, and then I'm like leaving them, and the only thing that I'm doing is kind of like tracking them. So I've like created a spreadsheet, and I'm tracking things like the views, the conversion, like the click rate, all of that kind of stuff. So, and like the number of sales, etc. But yeah, not really getting very far very quickly, which I'm not gonna lie is testing me quite a lot. And like I'm trying to just trust in the universe and like soldier on through and know that all this hard work will eventually pay off. And I know that it's hard, and like if it was easy everybody would do it. But yeah, I'm struggling somewhat with like, I wouldn't say the motivation, like I'm definitely motivated, but I'm just yeah, feeling a little bit like overwhelmed on the one hand, because I think just knowing that I've got this big change in our life and stuff with having another baby and all of that side of things, and like I'm not really supposed to be working when I'm off because I'm getting like maternity pay and things. So, and I want more than anything to just like enjoy and absorb that time off. So I'm having to just be patient, and what will be, and I'm just hoping that, fingers crossed, things start to turn themselves around because it's getting a little bit boring. But yeah, we'll get there. It will work. I am sure of that. But yeah, let me know if you have any experience, tips, advice, anything on Shopify versus Etsy. I know like there is definitely a lot of opinions out there, but yeah, if you have had success in particular with either of those, then let me know. If there's any tools that you use, things like on Etsy you can get things like Everbee and E-Rank, which are really helpful. I'm struggling to like find the equivalent for Shopify. I did come across SEMrush, which I think I've used before on my WordPress blog. But yeah, let me know if there's any tools that you use to help with that. But I will show you the latest collection, etc. And yeah, I will talk you through where I'm at. So this is where I'm up to with the designs, and I'm just having a look at like each individual design, how I think it'll work, whether I think I want it with piping. And yeah, I've done this presentation, so I've got like the different products and the designs. This is what I was meaning with like incorporating the design and like layering it, etc. To make it a bit more interesting for things like placemats and napkins. Oh, sorry, I'm so out of breath. Tablecloths, plates, etc. And then this is where I'm up to. So this is what I meant by you can sort of like, oh, where's my mouse? Play around with the design and have a look at like the front and back, and then add piping. Also, I've not used cerise piping before. That could be an interesting one to add. But yeah, then you add the piping on and you can like zoom into them. This is on the cotton linen. And then yeah, change the size, etc. But yeah, this is where I'm up to with that, and I'm just gonna go through, make a mock-up image of all of the designs of the cushions in particular, because I think that really does change how it looks. But then yeah, once I have all the fabrics through and I've made a decision on what fabric each design is gonna go onto and which piping colour I'm gonna have, then I can order samples of the cushions themselves, because obviously like the cost difference is quite big between just getting like a sample fabric and then like an actual sample cushion made. So then yeah, I can get sample cushions or samples of everything and then start like photographing them, etc., which hopefully I can get done in April, because in May technically I wanted to be getting all of like the autumn winter stuff designed, etc. But I think one of the things that I'm really realising is that I'm like biting off way more than I can chew with like the number of designs, and maybe I should just scale it back a bit. So I might have a little think about that. But yeah, I will keep you up to date. Hi guys, so it's now Wednesday, but it's my last working day this week, because yeah, like I said before, we had to move days around, etc. So today I have been finalising a lot of the designs for like my placemats, tablecloths, etc. And I've actually done a few mock-ups, which I'll either insert a few pictures here or I will go upstairs and film what I've done on my computer. But very excitingly, I've just come down the stairs to find another parcel, which is the samples for my latest round, which I ordered on Monday. So yeah, pretty quick turnaround because I think it was like Monday afternoon I ordered these. I did it slightly differently this time because I realised the minimum size, I was like downsizing it, but it wasn't making it any cheaper to actually look at the samples. So I've ordered like a bigger piece. I've just put like lots of the designs on one big piece, and then I can cut it up into the little individual samples later on. Some of these are probably a bit obsolete now because when I've been working through the designs, I've not actually used these. I have used this one for like a tablecloth, a placemat and napkin. So yeah, I love that. I had also looked at changing like the scale of the strawberries and lemons on these, and then I also played around with having the checkerboard effect but having flowers in there, which I quite like this one. I didn't really like it so much on screen, but I quite like it in reality. And then I also played around with this design, which is like the flower with then like a little leaf motif. Which I like. I think just the scale of them needs changing, but then also I haven't really used that design very much. I've tried to like limit how much I've actually used, just to make sure I don't overwhelm myself. Mostly because I'm going to have to buy samples of all of these and photograph them. So the more I end up trying to sell, the more I need to photograph, so therefore the more I need to buy. And yeah, there's like investing in your business, and then there's just like, yeah, basically just didn't want to overwhelm myself. Also feel like I want to make sure it feels like a good solid collection rather than me stretching myself. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this already in this vlog or a previous vlog, or whether I was just telling somebody about it, but I was watching somebody's YouTube video and they were saying how they were chatting to somebody about all the things that they were doing, and the response was, you're a mile wide and an inch deep, and you need to be an inch wide and a mile deep. And I'm definitely feeling like I need to make that shift. So I need to be more sort of thoughtful and like making sure that like the designs that I'm creating I really personally love and think that they would do well, and then like really going deep in like to the marketing side of things, because I just keep skipping over that, and I do feel like that is a large reason as to why I'm not really seeing any success so far. But then I also have some more designs here. Let me try and fold this up to make it a bit easier. So I've got like the tile design, which I have used this a little bit for plates. I really like this kind of design for a plate, but I haven't used it a great deal for anything else. Then got this design, which was just a very quick little sketch of a flower, and I've used this quite a lot. I really like this kind of look and design. So yeah, I've used that on a cushion, a throw, placemats and napkins, so, and a tablecloth, so basically everything. Oh, and a tea towel. My brain, honestly. This was a very quick design that I put together, and it was an alternative for one of the designs that I was talking through the other day. In my previous vlog, where I said like I didn't like the outline and it was too thick. So I very quickly drew this little design and I quite like it. I think the things that I'm not keen on is, again, the thickness of the line and then therefore the little leaves. And then I think the scale of this flower is too big, and I don't like this flower on this design. I did think about having like the little ditzy print in these, but I just decided to continue with it like this with the 2 flowers for now, and then I would have a look to see what I thought. But I haven't really used this on any of the designs that I've done for like placemats and things, so I think I'm probably just going to put this one on hold maybe for next spring, summer, and keep thinking about how to develop this design a bit more, because it's definitely something that I really like, but it's been a lot more difficult to create than I realised. I think it's probably one of those ones that I need to hand sketch and then do on my tablet. But yeah, I then also did like a little what's it called, like a patchwork quilt kind of look with some flowers in. I like this, literally was a very quick design that I threw together. I quite like it, but it definitely needs a lot more work. So I haven't really used it in this collection, but it's definitely something that I want to keep developing, and I might actually continue to develop this into my like autumn winter collection and like recolor it and do something a bit different with it, because that's one of the things that I want to try and work on. I was having a think about this earlier, because obviously I've got all this time off with my daughter. The only time that I can really do any sort of like work is in the evenings, and the easiest thing for me to do is like the sketching side of things and things on my tablet, because my laptop is so big and clunky, etc. So I am thinking that I'm going to start looking at the autumn winter collection, and then I also want to start trying to put together like a business like planner type thing, just because I'm just feeling like I really need it to get organised, both before baby arrives and after baby arrives, and then after I go back to work kind of thing. But yeah, I'll continue going through these designs that I've done. So again, I've got this one. I have then since changed the colours of these flowers, and I've not printed that one, but then I've used the one that I've recoloured in a few of my designs. So I did really like this. I liked the flower and stuff, and just, I don't know, I think it was the yellow just wasn't doing it for me. But yeah, it's something that I have used a little bit of. I have to say, when I first created that design, I thought I was going to use it on everything, and I kind of haven't, just because it's not really that initial sketch that I did. I feel like even though I wanted to improve it, it just had something about it that made me be like, oh, I really love this design. And then everything that I've tried to improve it with since just hasn't worked. So again, I might, even though I have used a version of it in some of the products for this summer collection, I might sort of keep tweaking the design and trying to improve it to either use in the autumn winter collection or next spring summer. And then yeah, so then this was like another version of it that I quickly did. So I had like a blue flower and then just a very pale leaf motif thing, which I did like. I think again it was just the colours, just the blue in this flower wasn't vibrant enough sitting against this, and then this like block print motif gets a bit lost. so from a distance you can't really see it. So yeah, I will keep working on that, I think. Even though I have used it a little bit, I'm going to keep working on that one because I do think it has the potential to be like a really great design. And then this was just another little thing that I'd very quickly seen on Pinterest, where somebody had like the checkerboard and then they had like a little check that went in between. Again, I like it, I'm just not keen on the colours. I think I might try and develop this design more in the autumn winter collection. And yeah, recolour it so that it's a lot more, I don't know, subtle maybe. We'll see. I do really like that, but just not for this collection. Again, it's another one of those ones that needs designing a bit further. And then this one is the design that I was like hand sketching, I think it was in last week's vlog, where I hand sketched it and then I moved all the squares around and then filled it in a bit, and this is the final outcome, and I really like it. I think I want to try and do a lot more of this kind of stuff, both because I really enjoyed the whole process of it, but also I just really like the sort of hand finished, or like the hand drawn sort of look of it, and I like the style, I like the colours. So I have used this a lot in the latest collection, so you'll see all of that. But yeah, I'm probably going to try and go to my mum's on Friday, so that I can print off. So I've done like a little presentation where I've created mock-ups of everything. So I've got a mock-up of my napkins, my cushions, throws, fleecy blankets, everything, apart from the tea towels, but like they're just a rectangle anyway. So, but I've created a mock-up of everything, and I've even created a mock-up of the table setting image that I've got. So yeah, I'm gonna take that to my mum's, get it printed, and then start like commenting on it and stuff. So that's one of the other things that I want to do, but I am really happy with how it's developed. I think every time I got to something that I wasn't sure about, I kind of took a step back and was like, right, let's refresh this. Let's try and figure out a way of like bringing it back around to something that I like. So yeah, the process this week has been very productive. Yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. So yeah, like I said, for the next couple of weeks, my goal is to get an idea of what I want the autumn winter collection to look like overall, and then start trying to sketch some designs out. And then if I get time, I can develop them a little bit further. And also, if I get time, and it's a big if, I'm not putting any pressure on myself, I can start uploading some of the products for my summer collection. But basically my mentality is the week that I come back, that's going to be my #1 focus, is just getting that collection finished off, all the mock-ups done, everything uploaded and ready to go. So it'll be like the beginning of May. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. Really excited also to start thinking about the autumn winter collection. I feel like if I can get the main bulk of it all done before the baby arrives, then I can like schedule everything to be going up while I'm sat breastfeeding and all the rest of it, changing nappies and whatnot. And then yeah, the other thing is this business planner. So my husband's going to watch the football tonight, so I'm going to actually have a sit down and like think about all the things that I need. I know it feels very specific, but I feel like there must be other people out there who are creating a business of a similar kind of like feel to me. I know that like a lot of people use various platforms, but I personally enjoy using Pinterest and YouTube as my like marketing platforms, and I just feel like it's I wouldn't say it's less stressful. It definitely is still stressful, like trying to figure out the algorithms and like the best keywords and doing all of that kind of research and stuff, and like trying to make a success of it without pouring loads of money into it. But I just, on a personal level, I stopped enjoying Instagram to consume if I'm being realistic, a few years ago, but I've kind of like held on for a while. And I did try and have like an Instagram account a few years ago, and it just really like hit my mental health hard. So I kind of decided in like 2023, I think it was, I just like deleted my Instagram account, and every now and then I kind of think like, oh, should I go back onto Instagram? But no, I think I'm doing the right thing in terms of yeah, using the platforms that feel like they align best with me and what I think will help with my mental health, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to create a like good business if I don't have good mental health. So yeah, if you are in a similar situation where you're creating a business and you're trying Instagram and it's just exhausting you out, then let me know. Let me know if you've got any tips on how you're like coping with it, or even just like message for moral support or whatever. Yeah, I definitely know how it feels to be trying to tackle that whole world, and yeah, didn't enjoy it, didn't feel like it was beneficial for me at all. So we're sticking with Pinterest and we're trying to make that work. not really doing very well with that either, but yeah, we're ploughing on through regardless. So yeah, anyway, I've been rambling on for like nearly 20 minutes, so I'm going to stop this vlog here. Thank you guys so much for watching if you've made it all the way to the end. I hope you are all well. Comment below on which one of these designs is your favourite. But yeah, I shall catch up with you again next week. Bye guys!